Hello and welcome in, Magic learners, Magic players. We're going to bust up the myth about matchup percentage and look at things in a new way that's more productive and will get you better results for those of you who care about results. And for those of you who care about fun and thinking, this is going to be good too. So the myth about matchup percentage is that matchups are a way. They're static. There's percentage. So people express this in how is the matchup? How is the matchup? You know, what's the percentage? Are you favored? Are you unfavored? And there's a little bit of truth to this. So in testing, we see people test and keep track of the number of games won and so on as being the primary form of note taking. And then you find it's a 60% matchup or whatever, and bam, static. So the truth about matchups is that they're dynamic depending on the player and depending on the plans available and adjusted. What this means is there aren't necessarily good and bad matchups for a deck archetype, although there is some truth to this, right? Sometimes you do have a nightmare matchup, but you can make the nightmare matchup good if you really care, if you weigh your plans versus that. You can change from 40 to 60%, and the way we do that in testing is, or the way that you would ask questions like that are, what does it take to win this matchup? What are the plans required to win this matchup? And in testing, you wouldn't necessarily take real close notes on the percentage, but rather focus on what cards it takes to really swing the matchup and make sure that there's a winning plan. So the result is that instead of getting into this fixed thinking that a matchup is a way, we move to a way of thinking that matchups are really dynamic and really depend on the specific builds and the specific plans and the specific preparation. So instead of wondering how the matchup is, just ask what is my plan for this matchup, what's it going to take to win this matchup. And this is why we see, I always go back to this, players like Craig Wescoe, Brian Kibler, Guillaume Wafatapa, John Finkel tend to play the same archetypes over and over. And what they do is make plans against whatever the metagame throws at them, whatever adjustment. If a new thing comes out, they aren't like, how's the matchup? It's bad. There's nothing I can do. It's just like, instead it's dynamic. What's it going to take? Kibler will say, how can I improve my green strategy to be good against this new threat? Okay, now I have a plan. Maybe I know the percentage, but I mean, it's dynamic. In the tournament, opponents are going to have adjustments. They're going to play different than other opponents. So most important is I have a plan that I like, and that is the truth about how matchups are, is that they aren't just a way. It's a lot more complex, and it's harder to think this way. But you can always improve a matchup. You can always make a matchup good if you want to make it good. So I hope you found that useful. Especially for the tournament players, if you want more of this stuff, make sure to check out our Magic Mastermind team. If you go to mtgtraining.com, mtgtraining.com/mastermind, you can check out what we're doing and apply to join the team. There's way more in-depth information on this to improve your tournament play and thinking. And for the rest of y'all Magic learners, see you here back tomorrow. Much love.